Record. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so. September 18th, Sunday, September 18th is our date for homecoming. And I'm excited about it. And what I wanted to do was, first of all, give you some stuff that's finalized. And then I'll go through the different needs that we have. And you may have thought of some things when Carol and I met and we talked 2 days ago and we talked again today. But you may think of some things that, I just miss because there's a lot for us to get ready for. But I do want to start tonight with some finalized details about homecoming. The date, of course, is Sunday, September 18. The Reverend Courtney Montgomery Chandler will be our preacher that day. She's a Priscilla from our congregation. She grew up here along with her brother Jason, and of course her sweet mom Judy and Eddie, her dad. And she is a minister, and she was just absolutely thrilled to be asked. And I was absolutely thrilled to ask. So Courtney's going to be our minister that day, unless something changes, and then you may have to settle for, this guy. But we'll see. But she's coming, and Ann Haynes is going to be our accompanist for the worship service that day. She agreed to come. We had her back a couple of months ago, and she's really looking forward to coming and tinkling the ivories for us and for that worship service. Special music for that Sunday. The choir's going to sing a special, and I'm going to sing a special during the service. We may have other opportunity, depending on the wisdom of the committees and the planning, to possibly have another event that afternoon, whereby we could bring in some other folks, possibly if they're available, who could come and sing. But during the worship service itself right now, those are the only two. We're the only two. We're going to officially invite New Covenant Christian Church to join us, the Korean congregation that meets in the large fellowship hall. If you've ever looked inside that cabinet down in the large fellowship hall foyer, on the occasion of this church's 140th, I believe, or it might have been the 135th, New Covenant presented this church with a very nice plaque celebrating that homecoming. So we're going to invite them to come and be a part of our worship that day as well. And I was going to see if anything else is finalized besides that. No. So that is pretty much it. But I wanted to get that stuff out to you and go from there. All right. Those are the finalized things that are being taken care of and will be done. The other things are, there's been some things that have been discussed. And the first one is the brush arbor. And as you know, or may not know, this congregation first met in what is described as a brush arbor. We're just going to call it an arbor of some sort, a dwelling place. But Hoyt has been working on this and gathering recruits for this. And so what I want to do now is just kind of ask Hoyt if he has anything to add on that particular thing at this point. So
The only thing I need to know, I guess, is get approval to construct it like a true arbor, brush arbor.
Yeah.
As opposed to what the drawing is over there. The drawing over there is more of slab arbor. Let me give you a little bit of background on brush arbors. And there's a real Christian church background on brush arbors, particularly in the United States. And there are a lot of churches named Brush Arbor Baptist Church, Brush Arbor Christian Church, and all of that sort of stuff. But what the arbors were, and they're used mostly for revivals and evangelical meetings, and they would come and construct an arbor, and then people would come and they would preach, and they'd have music, and sometimes accompanied by guitars, and sometimes acapella, or most of the time acapella, particularly to the more traditional ones. And it would be just depending on the size of the crowd they expected to be there, it would be posts set in the ground, trees, they would go cut the trees down, and they would typically cut one where they had some sort of a fork. It wouldn't have to be a perfect fork, it could be off like that. And they would put those and they would cut others and set them in there, and then they would just tie them together. So you would have series of posts with posts running across this way, and then they would just cut branches off trees and lay up on it, and they could construct it where the back end was a little lower than the front end, and then they would put the branches down here and then just keep stacking the branches. And all it did was, purpose it served was to be in a shade. There were no sides on it or anything like that. It was just a shade. And typically, once it was used, then it would be just taken down. And or they, now, I don't really know. We haven't found, to my knowledge, any real documentation of what it's like. The notation back there says a brush arbor made of oak.
Right.
And that certainly could well be, and it could have been like that looks.
Sure.
But that's not a brush arbor.
Right.
And
Right.
so what I was thinking about was that locating this somewhere on the west side of the sign out there so that people coming down the road would see it. And it would be, it might be as big as what they had, it might be smaller than what they had, but to us, it would just be a symbol of how we started here. And that we could get the posts and all up, and then we could ride at, or anytime ahead of time we wanted to, and put the branches in for the roof part. But when you do that, you have to replace those because they'll die. The leaves will die and they'll fall off. But you could put those up and they'll last for a while. But that was my thought, building something along the lines of maybe 15 to 20 feet wide, facing the road, 10 feet deep, 10 feet up here, 9 foot back there, so it had a slope to it. And that was all I was thinking about.
Or you want to put chairs under for people? to
Well,
sit
what
in?
we could do, what I thought about doing is to go over to the sawmill and get them to cut me off maybe 3 stumps about a foot high, then 3 about a foot and a half high, and then 3 about 2 feet high, putting those in there and just laying a slab across them, and it would look like
Like stadium
which
seats?
is probably what they did back then, was they probably just sat on
Yeah.
slab thing benches and just put some benches in there.
Isn't that how the benches are made out here
Yeah.
with tree trunks under them? Yes.
Couldn't we do the brush arbor out here where they have the Sunday morning?
Well, I thought about that originally. I went out there and looked, and we could actually do it over what we've got out there. And I guess that would be fine for the congregation and probably for the people coming back, but then it wouldn't get a lot of views from the road. And so I was thinking about seeing something that's a road that
Can we do 2?
might be, sure.
The, didn't you say something about, to do something like that, you had to have county approval?
Oh, for the garden, yeah, but you're talking, would be a permanent structure. This, they're not,
That,
they're,
it used to be, I don't know now, but it used to be, there was a dollar value. It had to have that permit from the county. And the dollar value would be the appraised value of what the finished product was. The finished product, the appraised value of this finished product is 0.
right,
Brush arbor's not worth anything.
because it's all
But
dead
it,
stuff.
it would take a lot more work to do it out here,
Mhm.
but we could do it out here. We could make one that would cover the entire seating section out here.
Sure.
The reason I'm saying out here, I know it wouldn't be seen from the road. But if you do the seating like you're talking about, people coming to church, it's gonna be dressed up.
Oh, well,
And
I
I
wasn't
didn't-
planning on us using,
Oh, I thought that's, you was planning on having a service
No,
underneath.
no.
It's just a visual of.
No, it's just a
Yeah.
vision.
Oh, if it's not gonna be
Okay.
used, if it's just a visual, I agree with you by the other side, but
Yeah, I wouldn't think about it being used for service. I don't know what it'll be like that September the 18th.
Probably gonna be pretty hot.
It'd be
That could
hot
be a
and
little-
it could be
little-
rainy, so I don't.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it's a symbol of the start of the church.
Yeah. Okay, so those of you on Zoom, do you have anything to add? Hoyt is basically looking for the go-ahead to build a traditional brush arbor, basically, instead of like it's depicted in the picture down here in the small fellowship hall, which is more of a slab type of construction. Does anybody have any objections to that? I mean,
I think it's a great idea.
Where will it be?
Hoyt said he was gonna build it out here, to the west of the building, on the road, to the west of our church sign, between the church sign and the garden.
Build it out there in the concrete.
Well, I really was thinking about, and it doesn't matter to me, I'll put it where anybody wants to put it.
Right.
But I was thinking, I went out there and looked, and we could put it under the pecan tree, but if we put it closer to the road, it would be more visible, I think, to the road. If it's under the tree, I think people are not, they're gonna tend more to see the tree than the.
it would probably blend in.
Well, the county might complain if you put it on the right of way.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. I'm gonna come back down to about the level to where we've got the, I don't know what we call it out there, the little bitty flower garden like place. in
The
front of
bicycle
door.
garden.
The
Okay.
bicycle garden,
The what?
the bicycle garden.
Bicycle garden. It would be lined up with the bicycle garden, that far back off. of it.
As long as you're 20 feet off the road, it shouldn't be no problem.
Okay,
If you take concrete out, that means, are you talking about parking lot area to use it? Because I don't think that's a good idea. Then you're taking away parking for the people
No,
putting it on grass,
on the
Uh-huh.
grass, right?
putting it on grass, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, putting it on grass, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no objections. I just, he can go right ahead. I mean, is that okay with everybody?
absolutely.
Right, now get ready to help him. Right, Hoyt?
How
Right.
long do you think it'll take to construct? A day, a couple of weekends?
I think the longest part will be just getting the poles, setting the poles up. I would not see probably putting the brush down unless we wanted to do it like a week ahead of the thing, or we could do it all the time, and just keep changing the brush up there on the top. I think, no. Unless we want to char the post, then we ought to be able to do it in a couple of days. But if we want it to stay there, then we need to char the posts before we put them in the ground, so then they won't rot.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Hoyt. I think it's gonna be wonderful. I really do. The second thing, I should have put this up in the finalized details, but our janitor Scotty, on the 19th of July is going to come in with his grandson. And he's gonna strip and make the floors in the small fellowship hall and the kitchen and the hallways out here in the old part of the building. And after we call him and tell him, he's gonna do the floors in the bathrooms in the large fellowship hall. But not gonna do anything with the floors in the large fellowship hall itself. So he's gonna, these floors really pop after Scotty does that. So he's gonna be doing that on the 19th of July. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that. The other thing that's been discussed, but I'd like your input, is when we did this 5 years ago, Patsy scheduled a hymns thing after the meal. We'll talk about the meal in a little bit, but what do you think about including that in the day's festivities? I agree. What do you think?
Matt and I weren't here 5 years ago. And I'm just curious, what, was it an all day thing?
No, we do a normal morning. We do a normal morning, prayer Sunday school, worship at 11. Then we have a meal, and then following that, those that wanted to stay went up and did a hymn sing. Yeah,
I don't think we need to do it, and I'll tell you why.
go ahead.
Is 5 years ago, we had people to get up and sing, but only people who stayed was either their family. And we didn't have many people, just 25 people made us stay,
Okay.
so. I think it's a waste of time.
Okay, Harriet believes it would be a waste of time. What about you guys? What say everybody else?
I never argue with Harriet.
I don't to her face.
As long as we have enough hymn singing in the service.
Oh, we're gonna sing. We're gonna sing a lot. Yeah, so,
Good.
okay, well then we'll put the kibosh on the hymn sing idea, okay? If that is agreeable with everybody. It's fun. I mean, I was gonna pull the old hymnals out and the hymns from the ones that we just replaced. Because Carol and I were thinking about that, and so, but we can do that anytime. So, okay, good. It'll be a busy morning. There'll be a lot of work going on. So, yeah, okay, so we'll put the kibosh on that. All right, okay. The other thing that Carol and I talked about was, and we want your input and approval for this. We thought about putting an insert in the bulletin for those that have passed since the last homecoming, which was 2017.
Members.
Members who have passed. And I'll always remember the 2017 homecoming because when we started, there was no sound coming from the sound system. And so during the meet and greet, I was on the verge of a heart attack, running around in the back going, why is there no sound? Because I had turned everything on. Well, I thought I had turned everything. The amps really help when you turn them on. So that will be my abiding memory of the 17 homecoming. But what do you think about the insert for the members for the church that have passed since the last one? Is that an okay idea?
I think so.
Okay, great. Anything from anybody on Zoom? Good.
Do we have an idea of the number of people that are members of the path?
Oh, yeah.
How many?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know that Harriet's been keeping up with it. And we've been keeping up with it in the office, and
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's upwards of 35.
Is it real?
Yeah. I've done a lot of funerals. Yeah.
Another thing I would like to see
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
bulletin is, in our directories,
Mhm.
we always have the history in the front.
Yeah,
And I'd like to see that printed out put in the
we'll do it.
bulletin.
We'll do it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, we'll do it. So we want to do the history of the church as well. You got it.
And if I could
Yeah, go
say
ahead.
something else,
Please, Harriet.
I talked to Frances Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's works with the Historical Society, and they publish a magazine called The Heritage.
Okay.
And she said she's going to try to see if she could get somebody to come and write a story about the church and put it in the Heritage.
I'm glad you said that because
be
one
awesome.
of the things that we're going to talk about is advertising. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's great. No, good. Hey, you're making the meeting shorter. That's good. I think everybody can agree with that, right? All right.
And 150 years is something certain.
It really is.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
There is a small article. I got sick and I couldn't be a part of it. And then I forgot to turn the soundboard on. But there's a small article with Harriet and Sandra Thompson in the corner of the bulletin board upstairs in the narthex, where someone did come out and did an interview for the 145.
But they don't have that paper in
They don't have that paper anymore. Okay. But I'm glad to hear that they've got that. That's great. All right. The other things we need to talk about. Decorating. All I'm gonna say is Carol and I did something really special today, and we're not telling you what it is. And you won't see it until the 18th of September. But I think you're really gonna like it. So that's all. But that's as far as that. It's not outside of our normal purview as far as decorating goes, but other decorating for the church. That's why that's hoping Sandra. Flowers and things like that. I think it would be. What do you think about Sandra? Us having a very special floral arrangement for that particular Sunday. We're going to do
Yeah.
red for the color. I'm going to ignore the lectionary for that particular Sunday and do red for that Sunday. What do you think about that? Have some flowers. Yeah, good. Okay, maybe we can get Sandra Thompson to do that. All right.
I'm sure she'd be glad to.
Okay, the other thing is advertising. I wanted to talk with you guys about advertising. There's all kinds of advertising. See that Sandra is already working on that. Now, at the last one, and I believe it was Billy Payton, and of course, Billy has passed away. We had a nice sign that you guys had made announcing the homecoming, the signage outside. I would like for somebody, problem with me is I'm an information guy on signs. All I want to see on a sign is, what is it? What time is it? And so that I'm not creative and colors and all of that stuff. But I would really like for us to have a couple of vinyl banners or mesh banners to go up to promote this. But I would like for somebody else to kind of head that up. We would like to do that. I mean, the church would take care of it, whatever. Would anybody here like to take care of that?
I'll give it a go.
All right,
Thank you,
go ahead, Sharon. What you got?
John and I can do banners or help with banners, whatever.
It
Design
sounds to me like John and Sharon and Jennifer and Matt are on banner patrol.
That
Yeah.
did not sign up for banner.
All right,
patrol.
Jennifer, John, and Sharon are on banner patrol.
Don't get
There
me
you
in
go.
trouble.
Probably have to tie something in with Bush Arbor on the
Now, that's not a bad idea at all. That's a great idea.
I didn't-
small one of it, and 150th
Bush-
anniversary.
Want something on the brush arbor. Put a banner. Yeah, okay. We can work that out. That sounds great. Thank you, John and Jennifer and Sharon. Thank you. Okay. All right, the others is, and I know that Harriet's got her books and everything with her tonight, and I love it. Invitations. I think Harriet's probably going to take care of those, aren't you?
Well, Carol usually prints a letter and we send it to all the active members. And then I have a list here of all the inactive members and people who are non-members who come to the church. And we send all those people letters.
That's awesome. So that's taken care of. Signage. Newspaper looks like it's taken care of. Does anybody want to head up? I know I usually do the Facebook stuff and all of that, but would anybody like to head up advertising of this as far as Facebook? And Jennifer, obviously you're doing the website. But would anybody like to take on that responsibility on our webpage? Creating an event and doing stuff like that?
The only people that will see it is if they're a member of the group.
That's public. Our church webpage is public.
The website is, but I
The
thought
website, no, the
Facebook page,
Facebook page is public.
that stuff goes over my head.
Yeah, no, it is. I made sure it was public. Yeah. Yeah, so, but we'll put out invitations there, yeah, okay. And that only leaves one big thing, y'all. The meal
Food.
and setting up and all of that. We need to have ushers, Obi. That's where you come in, buddy. It's where you and your pal Jimmy come in. You guys got to be ready that day because we might even need a couple of extra folks downstairs, right? To help out pointing, of course, if they've been in this building, it really hadn't changed all that much in the last 30 years. But it'd be nice to help people out. So we need somebody to make sure that we've got enough ushers for that. All right,
We also had some people in the parking lot helping people to park.
folks
because
in the parking
It
lot.
was full.
Yeah, we may need some folks outside doing some security. We have to call Ed Lopes. Ed Murrah. Get him and Rick Weed out there, right? They're not here. Let's volunteer them, right? Go
The
ahead.
people that you may be reaching out to
Yes, ma'am.
that may be coming that are, have some mobility issues, will they? Like Cal and Sue said that they
That's Jennifer talking.
to get up the ramp. So is there a way that can be advertised, like when you send the invitation that it says, if you have mobility issues, that somebody will be here to help get you in the
I
building?
think that's good. Make sure we include that.
Something.
Yeah.
And then actually have somebody that's able to help get them in the building.
Yes, ma'am. We need somebody for that. So we're looking at having to have folks in the parking lot. We need to have some folks over here at the ramp, especially when we get close to the worship service time. So again, we're gonna have another meeting in August. So this, we can make sure that we've got the stuff hashed out about a month out. But just want to, okay, to get that done. Now, the meal. Setup's not gonna be a problem. The room will already be practically set up. With the exception of the chairs for New Covenant, which will have to be removed, but we've gotten pretty good at that. And I want to thank John and Hinton for tearing down after VBS and hiding stuff and making it difficult for me to find things like the projector when I needed it last week. And no, but I really seriously appreciate you guys doing all that. But we need to have a team to make sure that everything is set up, because I know that CWF is going to be all over decorating it. But Sharon, you may want to speak to this as far as the meal goes. And let's discuss what the CWF will provide. And I mean, obviously, it's going to be a potluck, obviously. But what will be provided from the church?
We usually provide the meat, which can be ham, chicken.
Yes. I haven't heard anything I don't like yet. Keep going.
Give me ideas. I mean, for something like this, we'll
We're gonna need a lot of meat.
do, we're gonna have to think about doing a lot of meat. I have to double check with
Let's think about.
Gail about the budget, but
Yeah, and what you got, buddy?
I was just thinking that for as many years as we had barbecue, why not have barbecue for the meat?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
And
it's a great idea from him.
you can, we don't necessarily have to cook it here or anything like that. I mean, you can get it.
Yeah.
Cater
We can cater.
and tell them how many
barbecue.
you want, and they'll give you the amount of meat for that number of people. How many people you expect?
Foggy Bottom.
How many did we have? How many
The last one we
did we have
had,
at the last?
185 is the last.
We had 185 in 2017. My guess, I would be ecstatic with 150. That'd be my guess, about 150. Maybe God will give us more, that'd be great. But I would say we're looking at feeding probably approximately 150 people. So I like the barbecue.
What you could do is, provide the barbecue meat and then tell everybody that this is what we're having and bring you, dishes that would go along with that.
Well, it will need more meat than barbecue though, too, because some people may not eat barbecue or can't for whatever reason. So I think we need more than one kind of meat.
If it was up to me, the barbecue is great. I believe ham is always welcome, and chicken. I would say those three meats in sufficient quantities, unless you guys think otherwise. What do you think?
I think that's good.
Okay. And then we'll need to make sure, some folks like buns with their barbecue. So we want to think about that, the breads and everything, but we can settle on that later when we get closer to the event. Okay. Well,
They also usually
Harriet,
provide
please.
the tea.
tea,
Yes.
we usually provide the drinks as well, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so we'll be getting plenty of that. Okay,
It was mentioned to me yesterday, I think Gail Stanton said that there used to be homemade ice cream at these things. Nobody's said anything about ice cream.
well, that's a wonderful idea. Let's talk about that. That was one that escaped me. What do we think about people providing homemade ice cream? I know that it would be on the grounds. You would used to be outside. There was a long table out here. Church had one of those
Oh, yeah.
long tables. And everybody would go out there and it didn't matter if you made a mess, but I think that's a wonderful idea. Who do we have left that will do the ice cream? Is there any ideas from you guys?
Gail,
I'll eat it.
I'll nominate, I'll volunteer her. She said that she. I'm gonna volunteer.
Well, Gail isn't gonna do the ice cream by herself.
No, she's not.
The last time.
Several people would need to make it. I mean, for
Okay.
that many people, you're gonna need
Well, we had,
probably, what, 10 churn?
we had a table out there and people had brought it and set it out there, and then you went out there and got it and brought it back in and ate.
That's right. That's right.
But if not enough people sign up for it, could we, I don't know, an ice chest and ice cream sandwiches? I don't know.
Yes, we will. We'll have some kind of dessert. Yeah, absolutely. And we can even do ice cream sandwiches if we have to. If it's okay with everybody, what we'll do is we'll put some feelers out and see if we can conjure up enough ice creamers to do that. That'd be great.
Well, if you didn't want homemade ice cream, you could buy those little cups of ice cream.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great.
That's not homemade.
No, it's not snow ice cream either. you know, but yeah. All right. I think that's a great idea, Jennifer. And let's see. Yeah, go ahead, Sharon, please.
Are we gonna do a cake that says 150 years?
I think you should. So what about you guys?
Do what?
A cake,
A cake that says 150 years on it.
150th cake? Yeah, Publix, yeah.
No, Costco.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Costco has better.
Be more
bigger-
boy.
You
There
get a
you
big
go.
cake for 18 bucks and you pay 28 bucks for a small Publix. Come on.
This
And the
is not
Costco is
an
good.
argument You're going to win, Sharon.
You can get one at Sam's with a picture of the church on it.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
There you go now.
If we took the bulletin and told them we wanted,
Yeah, I mean, they could probably do just about any design.
Probably.
One, yeah. Well, we'll see how creative we can be with that. That Costco's fine. That's good. All right, is there anything else?
oh, we're gonna have a nursery.
Yes, yes. We've already checked with Chris. It should be.
Is New Covenant gonna have church that Sunday?
No, we're inviting them to worship with us.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, you said the Korean church. What about Dr. Yoon's church?
Use church.
Peter, and
you.
Yeah,
We
she's
invite them
asking if
too?
you're inviting them.
I wasn't planning to, but I can.
I thought they had been members here.
No.
They never put, okay.
He also doesn't have anybody besides his family coming right now. It's still an online venture for him.
Oh,
They're still trying to grow that. Yeah. We'll invite them, absolutely. Please do. Yeah, please do. Yeah, I hope they come. That'd be great. Anything else tonight?
Are we gonna have Sunday school that Sunday?
Yeah. Mhm.
Cause I'm thinking if, you're wanting the ushers out in the parking lot and helping people up and everything, they need to be out there,
Sure,
probably at 10 o'clock, cause, depending on who's coming.
sure.
And it's gonna be kind of hard to have Sunday school and not have the ushers out there.
Well, I thought about canceling Sunday school that day, but there may be some people who come back and want to go to their Sunday school class
Yeah.
for that particular Sunday.
Great.
And, because I thought about moving the time of the service and back to 10:30 and everything. And I just kind of, I talked it over with Carol and just decided, let's just leave things as they are. Just that much normal, but we'll see if the ushers will need to make sure that I have to sacrifice a little bit to not be in Sunday school that morning if we need them out in the, I'm probably like, I'll do, whatever I need to do as well.
Just cut Sunday school a little shorter that morning if you have to.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, anything else? Sharon, you good?
Yeah, I'm just thinking some of the people who don't always attend Sunday school, like Ed, other people who are sometimes at church, but not always, maybe they'd be willing to do the ushering for Sunday school
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, it's good. We
So
can
it
talk.
doesn't take away from the people at Sunday school.
Okay,
Thoman, yeah.
yeah. I think we can do all that. What I can't do is sit here any longer and look at that terrible arrangement of clothes that Charles Whitehead has on. I don't understand. For a man who is always so immaculately and dressed on Sunday mornings
And
matches Beatrice, and look at this right here. I mean, I'll tell you.
I've never seen so much.
Yeah, well, anyway. No, is there anything else before we go? Well, listen, our next meeting will be 7 o'clock on Thursday, August 11th. Okay, we'll do it just like this. We'll do in person and Zoom again. And we'll be working together, all of us. We have our assignments. I think it's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful weekend in the life of this church, unless Jesus decides, to step out on the clouds, and we will have a different kind of homecoming this year. All right, if there's nothing else, let me pray us out. Father, I thank you so very much for this church and for 150 years. Thank you, Lord, for sending your spirit to work and move through us for your glory. May that continue. Thank you for these that have assembled tonight and those that said they would like to help, couldn't be here. Lord, help move us for your glory. We do it all for you. We do it for love of you, love for one another, love for our community. And we offer this prayer in Christ's name. Yeah. Thank y'all all very, very much. Charles, good luck, buddy. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
So that is in fact